Hello and good day, everybody. This is Desborne O'Neil from Elevation Niche, and I want you to please like and subscribe to this channel. All right, please like and subscribe. And I also want you to go on over to elevationniche.blogspot.com. On Elevation Niche, my blog, you're going to get a whole lot of free information on a whole lot of things, from finances, from personal relationships, and just some general knowledge that will help, that you can have as a talking point in the nice little, tea parties and so on. People want to know, how did you know all that? Yeah, check Elevation Niche. You're going to get a lot more about it. All right. All right. So today we are talking about narcissistic relationship. And oh yeah, if you're listening to any of the videos that I had before, let me tell you something. This is something I never I tell you, in my entire life, I never knew it existed. I never knew people can be so cold. All right. There's a song, I think, from one of those bands, says, "How could you be so cold?" All right. Yeah. And let me tell you, it's a life learning experience. And at this stage in my life, yeah, I have even written a book about it. And if you want to know more about that, yeah, check the link in the description, people. Check the link in the description. And if you like the type of content that we are putting out, or there's something about narcissistic relationship that you want to know, please let us know in the comment section as well. All right. Now, why am I qualified to talk about this? I'm glad you asked. All right. Well, just to let you know, I have been pastoring a church for well over 10 years. In fact, almost about 20 years we've been pastoring a church. We've had to deal with all types of people, all types of personalities, and we've had to put people in leadership position, remove people from leadership positions. We've had to do all sorts of things. And after going through all of that, we had to do some research on personalities and personality disorders and how to deal with it. Because believe it or not because a person is in church automatically means that they are all of a sudden just perfect. I want you to know, a church is like a hospital, and some people, they don't take the medication well. Some people actually reject the medication. So you can just imagine, that's why church people aren't perfect. We are just forgiven. All right. We are just forgiven. That's good. It is the sign of an empath. It's the sign that, hey, I've recognized I've got some work here to do. I've got some things that I need to work on in myself. I'm not perfect. I need to work on those things. I need to work on my response to people. I need to work on how I respond to people, what I do, how I do, the reason why I do it. Am I doing it out of a pure heart, or am I doing it for validation? Am I doing it because I like the way how people? Narcissist is not like that. Mm-mm. The narcissist does not have that capacity, at least not naturally. What they do is that they put on a mask. They put on a mask, and they have you thinking that everything is all right. They are just like you. They love like you. They care about you. But after a while dealing with the narcissist, you will recognize that that mask begins to slip. And as that mask slip, you recognize that the person on the other side has no emotion, has no capacity for love, no capacity for empathy, no capacity of feeling sorry. That's why they can say to you what they want, they can talk to you how they want, and it doesn't bother them. Sometimes I just ask myself, but how does this person get to do this, and they sleep comfortably? Do they sleep comfortably at night? If I offend somebody, that has me up whole night. I am thinking of ways to apologize, by chocolates, by flowers, by food, by something, and try to make it up and say, hey, I'm sorry, But the narcissist, the narcissist is not like that. Not like that at all. Took me a long while, because in my field, all right, and dealing with the type of people I deal with and so on, uh God even says, listen, if you have something ought against your brother, leave your gift at the altar, make it right with your brother or your sister, and then come back, and then you begin to worship the Lord with your gifts and so on at the altar. All right, so that is inbuilt on the inside of us that are believers. It is inbuilt on the inside of us. But when you are dealing with a narcissist, that's a whole different kettle of fish. And then you recognize that most narcissistic persons are demonically inspired to do what they are doing, even though that they might be in church. Yeah. So it's a whole lot that we need to unpack. This is by no means my small little information here. This small little YouTube is by no means meant to be a replacement for real therapy from a qualified and certified therapist. This does not mean that you're going to not go to therapy. You're not going to work upon yourself, and yes, you're going to just listen to a whole other YouTube stations. No. This is not a replacement for that, but it just helps you to be aware. It helps you to have a little to be forewarned is to be forewarned is to be forearmed. All right. And so it helps you to understand if you are in a narcissistic relationship, if you are dealing with a narcissist, how to recognize the narcissist and all of the different things on the inside there. All right. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it, people. All right. Let's get into it. So let's look at something here. First of all, if you're joining us for the very first time, I want you to welcome. I want to welcome. My name is Desborne O'Neil. I'm a pastor of the Word International Family Fellowship, and we've pastored in that church for quite a number of years now. All right, and we're pastoring in that church for quite a number of years now, and we are a growing ministry that is spanning worldwide. All right. And I'm going to leave some links into the description where you can actually follow our Bible studies, our preaching and our teaching in the ministry every Sunday morning. Yes, you can follow us every Sunday morning. We have people from all over the world tuning in, and we'll be so glad to have you. Our ministry is streamed live on YouTube from 10:30, and so I want you to follow us, and let's all elevate, let's all rise together. So that's why this channel is called Elevation Niche. We have our own blog spot, all right, and we have some resources that are also going to be leaving links in the description for you to check out. All right, so today we are going to be looking at 3 reasons why trauma bonds are dangerous. You might be saying, what is that? I've never heard about a trauma bond. What is a trauma bond? Well, you actually, sir or ma'am, you might be in a trauma bond and you don't even know. And I will show you why, right? Let's get into it. Now, first of all, a narcissist brings 3 things. They have a bag of tricks, and the bag of tricks have 3 things. Number 1, they love bomb you. They make you feel like you are the sky, the moon, the stars, and everything in between. They make you feel that the world cannot revolve without you. Who doesn't like to feel love? Everybody likes to feel love. Everybody. Even God. The Bible says, thou shalt love the Lord with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your might. So God loves, right? The Bible tells us in the book of, I think it's 1 John, that everyone that loves is born of God and knoweth God, and he who loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. So beloved, let us love one another. But this, what I am talking about here, is something totally different. Love, especially as the Bible talks about it, is agape love. It's a give. It's a selfish type love where you give without wanting anything in return, right? Where you give out of the abundance of your heart, and you do it with a joy, and hopefully the other person on the other hand has the similar type of mentality, and they equally will want to give you out of the abundance of their heart, out of the abundance of their love for you, their concern for you. And so there is reciprocity in a normal relationship. There is reciprocity in a normal relationship. But when we are dealing with narcissists and narcissistic type relationships, there is no reciprocity. Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, in a narcissistic relationship, one person is doing all the giving. One person is doing all of the things. One person is held to account for everything. One person alone. So you, if you are the empath or a super empath, if you are the person that has, well, the narcissist doesn't have any empathy, but you that has the empathy, you will be giving, crying, giving, doing some more crying, go back home, wondering why you are a sap, you are giving, and you are wondering why, how come I can't break free out of this relationship? I understand that this person is taking advantage of me. I understand that I need to get out. I understand that I am emotionally drained. I am mentally drained. I am tired. Let's talking to this individual. They always twist things. They always turn things. I don't know what is right from wrong anymore. My perception of reality is beginning to blur. All of these different things. I want to get out and I can't get out of this relationship. What has me stuck here? My friends, if that is you and that describes how you are feeling right now, you might be very well in a trauma bond. You might be in a trauma bond and you might be asking, what on earth is a trauma bond? Well, I'm glad that you asked, because we are going to get into that right now. 3 reasons why trauma bonds are dangerous, right? Reason number 1, reinforcement of negative patterns. Trauma bonds keep you trapped in a cycle of emotional highs and lows. The narcissist does this by carrying you through a rinse, a wash, rinse, repeat cycle. Wash, rinse, repeat cycle. Love bomb, manipulation and gaslighting, discarding. And they do that over and over and over and over. Love bomb, manipulation, gaslighting, and discard. Over and over and over. And that rinse, wash, that wash, rinse, repeat cycle is what have you in an emotional bond. You want to get out of it, but you can't, because in the normal person that has empathy, you generally want to make sure that everything is all right. You care genuinely about the individual, whether it's a male or a female. I don't want anybody to come away thinking that when you hear the word narcissist, only males pop up. That's incorrect. Let me tell you, the truth be told, the female narcissists are the worst. If we really want to put it, because nobody expects a woman to be narcissistic simply because she is maternal. She has been, from her very genetic makeup, built to care and have empathy for others, including her offspring, right? But when a woman is narcissistic, it is the worst. You don't know what hit you. And as a man growing up in a regular household and you come into contact with a female narcissist, let me tell you, you have hell to pay. You'll be pulling out your money. You will be pulling out all the stops. You will be lying on the ground. Some people, they drink themselves to death. Some people get into drugs because they want to just feel good. You see, as a pastor, we learn not to cast judgment on anybody because we can be there ourselves. I have learned that there are some things that people go through in life. We have to thank God that we weren't steered into that direction. And it's not because of anything or the other. That's just how life is. Some people are over there and some people are over here. That's just how life is. But there are some things that we go through in life, my brothers and my sisters, in that some people take drugs just to feel good. People drink rum just to feel good. People involve in a lot of sexual activities because that dopamine release that goes to the brain, they just want to feel good about themselves, because relationships that they're in and so on have them drained, emotionally drained. People have drained them. They call the narcissists the emotional vampires, right? They suck and they suck and they suck everything out of you, and next thing you know, you are just a shell of a person. Yeah. So I don't want to put a gender to it. It is a human thing, and it happens to both male and female. All right. So don't feel that only men are narcissists. All right. And I know a lot of guys are going to back me up here, because chances are some of you have been empaths and have bounced up into a female narcissist, and it took you a long time, because one of the things is they always make you feel that the problem is you. They are perfect. They are perfect. They don't make mistakes. They don't make your type of mistakes, and you are bad, very bad for making your mistakes, and you have to get licks for it. Yeah, that is how it is when you are with a narcissist. Everything is one-sided. You are the bad one, not them. You are the wrong one, not them. You always do stupidness, not them. They are perfect in all their ways. They always make the right decisions. If it was up to them, they would have done things this way, and things would have been so much better. And they, by that type of speech, it always carries you down. In order for the narcissist to feel good, they must pull you down. That is how it is. So watch this. Reinforcement of negative patterns. Trauma bonds keep you trapped in a cycle of emotional highs and lows, reinforcing unhealthy behaviors and thought patterns. This constant instability leads to chronic stress and anxiety, and erodes your sense of self-worth, making it very hard to break free from the relationship. It's almost as if your sense of worth is tied up and bundled up into this one individual. They actually make you feel that way. That if you leave the relationship, their life, they will die. The earth will stop spinning. The galaxy will just cease. Thanos' fingers would have snapped with all of the infinity stones, and they would be into nothingness. And so you are left there giving, taking the wrong, even beating your own self over and over and over again in order to appease this individual. Let me tell you something. Never reinforce bad behavior. Never reinforce bad people talking down to you. Never reinforce it. Never reward it. Never. If you are married, if you are in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, let me tell you, do not reinforce negative patterns. All right? So these things keep you in a trauma bond. As I said, that hot and cold, that push and pull keeps you invested. It keeps you stuck there. Emotionally, you're stuck, because we are, as humans, are meant to fix things. We are meant to create. That's why we invent cars and we invent aeroplanes and helicopters and boats, because we are meant as human beings to solve issues and problems, and nothing is wrong with that. The problem comes in when you are dealing with a narcissistic individual and you are stuck on this in this kind of relationship here. You in real problems, right? Has you stuck. Number 2, you have a difficulty in recognizing that you are abused. Let's talk about abuse for a while. Most of the times when we hear the terminology abuse, we feel it's about physical abuse, or we feel it's about verbal abuse, and the woman will also feel that it's about financial abuse. But abuse goes way further than that. Abuse is the abnormal use of anything. So once somebody does not know your purpose, once somebody does not know who you are, once somebody does not know who they are, they will abuse you. They will talk to you how they want. They will, as we say in Trinidad here, they will stoop at you. They will feel that they have a right to address you how they want. But if God was to only to show them that you are the apple of God's eye, and he who touches you touches the apple of God's eyes, like you trying to choke God in the eye with your hand, God will defend himself and defend himself outrightly. All right. So let's get back. The second thing is, right, so we just define abuse, which is the abnormal use of something, and somebody who does not know who you are, does not know your purpose, will abuse you. Let's get into it. Difficulty in recognizing abuse. Trauma bonds often involve a mix of intense emotions, including love and fear, making it difficult to recognize the relationship as abusive, right? So you have intense emotion, a stew, a mix, a pilau of intense emotion. You love the individual, but you don't want to lose them. Maybe she looks beautiful. She has an hourglass figure. Maybe she has all of the attributes that you were dreaming of as a child, and now you're involved with this individual. She is the apple of your eye, but the honest problem is she's a narcissist. My brother, run. And same goes to women. My sister, run. Right? So this intense mix of emotions, including love and fear, makes it difficult to recognize that the relationship is abusive. This confusion can lead to self-blame and denial. So most of the time, as I said, we take it upon ourselves and we would say, all right, it is my fault. I am sorry. And let me let you know, if a narcissist apologizes to you, do not accept it. But Pastor, why? Because they never meant it. If they apologize to you, it is because they want you back into their sphere of manipulation. If they ever do anything, it's because they recognize that you are a potent source of narcissistic supply. There is nobody else who would do what you does do. Nobody else will put up with their foolishness. Nobody else will put up with their verbal abuse, with their physical abuse, or nobody else is going to put up with that. That's why when you try to break free of the relationship, they come running after you. It's as if, their life is with you. Their life is wrapped up, tied up, tangled up on the inside of you. 3 point how much billion people on the world, and you locked into one individual. Now this pastor is, I don't care how much people talk about we just call it destiny and my purpose is you, and no, you see all that foolishness. We need to stop all that nonsense because it keeps people in trauma bonds, right? I wish I had some time to get into what I personally believe in these different things. All right, but let's continue here. So this confusion can lead to self-blame and denial, further damaging your mental health and prolonging the toxic relationship. Being in a narcissistic relationship where, and every narcissistic relationship develops these trauma bonds, and these trauma bonds now, it is damaging to your mental health. It is damaging to your mental health. Your mental health is important. That's why there are so many people on all types of medication, things to make them sleep in the night, things to keep them calm, because a lot of people suffer from PTSD because of being in a narcissistic relationship. Right? So the second thing is difficulty in recognizing abuse, especially emotional abuse. A lot of men, and we don't see it, all you will see is when a man retaliates. But to every action, stick with me now, don't lose me, women, don't lose me. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So if we have, it's a mirror. If we have a reaction that is XYZ, it is because there was an action that is XYZ. And we must take accountability. Not because a guy fly off the handle and murders the whole family, he's bad. You don't know if that guy was in a trauma bond trying to get out, and you know when men trying to talk, or well, in some cases men don't talk. We keep everything inside, and that is so bad. You must be able to find somebody to talk with. You must be able to find somebody to chat with, to talk with, to get this thing off your chest. Even if it's to find some random stranger and it helps. Right? So when you have difficulty recognizing what abuse is, you end up sticking in a trauma bond. And the third thing, isolation and emotional dependency. The narcissist will always try to isolate you from being with friends and family. If you are married, you're in a relationship, but one half of the relationship, whether it's the man or the woman, has you stuck there where you have no friends, you hardly communicate with your family, it's just you are pulled away and isolated. You could be in a trauma bond. And they have you now emotionally dependent upon them. You are happy when they tell you you're happy. You are sad when they, and we have all of these skits sometime on YouTube and on TikTok and so on. And then, and the woman will say, "Ain't you happy?" Yeah. And the guy will say, "Yes." And this whole thing that we have about happy wife, happy life, all these things cause trauma bonds. I don't believe in that at all. Two people in a relationship, but only one person's happiness is important. That don't sit well with me at all. If two people are in a relationship, then both parties are equally responsible to make it work. If you have difficulty working with people, be single. Live your own life. Be by yourself. But as long as you are in a relationship, both parties are responsible. Isolation and emotional dependency. Trauma bonds create a deep emotional dependency on the abuser, isolating you from support systems and making it hard to seek help. This isolation intensifies feelings of helplessness and can lead to depression and other severe mental health issues. You understanding how serious this thing is? When we see people strung out on drugs, people lying in the bar, drinking themselves to oblivion, people shooting up drugs and all of these different things, listen to me, they're just trying to find ways to cope. Is it right? No, it's not right. I'm not saying that it's right. I am just saying that people trying to find ways to cope. In the house of God, we are thankful that we have God to help us, but we have a responsibility to share the gospel. Here's what Jesus Christ says. He says, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavily laden, and I will give you rest. There is rest for your soul. Yeah? And so there's rest out of this bondage that you're in. In Luke chapter number 4, Jesus Christ says, I have come to set the captives free. He has come to set you free from this trauma bond too. You see? We need to get out of these things. So that's to recap. Number 1, reinforcement of negative patterns. Number 2, difficulty in recognizing abuse. And number 3, isolation and emotional dependency. All of these are children of a trauma bond, and this is what makes a trauma bond dangerous. These are what make trauma bonds dangerous. All right? These are what makes trauma bond dangerous, my friends. These are what make trauma bonds dangerous. And just in case you don't know what a trauma bond is, let me give you a definition for a trauma bond. A trauma bond is a strong emotional attachment that develops between a person and their abuser, often in the context of an abusive or toxic relationship. And as I said, it can happen with both male and female. I don't ever want you to come away with the idea that once you hear the terminology abusive and toxic, you only think about the woman being on the receiving end of abuse and the receiving end of a toxic relationship. Men also are in abusive relationship and in toxic relationship from women. This bond is reinforced by the intermittent reinforcement of positive and negative experiences. Periods of affection or kindness followed by instances of abuse, manipulation, or neglect. Now remember that we were saying that in the narcissistic relationship, you have the love bombing phase, then you have the manipulation, gaslighting phase, or the devaluation stage, and then there's the discard, where they lock you off, where they cut you off, where they treat you like you are the worst, where they make you feel like you are not worth anything, and you are now trying to appease that behavior, and they do that by giving you the silent treatment, not talking to you. They might be very dismissive, or they might gray rock you. And that term gray rock, it simply means to just answer you with no emotion, no sense of care. And you want to know, if you are in a relationship and you love this individual, why are they treating me like this? A normal person, whether it be male or female, will often try to appease their abuser by taking wrong, by saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, by trying to do things. Maybe they didn't clean the yard, maybe they didn't put out the garbage, maybe they didn't make up the bed. Something they will try to do, and this creates, right, this intermittent reinforcement of positive and negative experience, periods of affection or kindness followed by instances of abuse and manipulation or neglect. That neglect there, that's what we talk about. They might stop talking to you. If you are in a romantic relationship, the person stop texting. The person might block you. Yeah, all of these things happen. They might block you from whatever, right? The cycle of abuse creates a powerful emotional connection, making it difficult for the victim to leave the relationship. Despite the harm, the victim may feel a deep sense of loyalty, love, or dependence on that abuser, often mistaking these feelings for genuine affection. or even believing that they can change the abuser. We have a terminology here in Trinidad and Tobago. We call it Tobago love. And Tobago love is simply, from either male or female. He loves me, so he will beat me. Right? Abuse is not right. Abuse is not correct in any sense of the word, simply because you are abnormally using that individual. Right? And we need to break free from that. Trauma bonds are particularly damaging because they blur the lines between love and abuse, leading the victim to rationalize or minimize abuse, making it harder to break free or even recover. Yeah. So that is why trauma bonds are so dangerous, and you need to get out. If you need help to get out of your narcissistic relationship, there are some resources that I'm going to leave down in the description. Make sure that you make full use of it. I want you to please like and subscribe to the channel. I also want you to click the links, especially if you want to know more about narcissistic relationship. Please type "tell me more" so we can tell you more about what a narcissist is, how to spot a narcissist, how to get out of a narcissistic relationship, and what to do if all this time you recognize you're in a narcissistic relationship and you want to get out. Like and subscribe. Information is coming. Your help is on the way. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. You're coming out with a victory. You're coming out with your power. All right? Take care. Until next time, we have more information how to break free of a narcissistic relationship. Take care, everybody.